Welcome to today's IARF 5-Minute Focus, discussions with leaders in disability services. I am Josh Evans, President and CEO of IARF, and we are happy today to be joined by the President and CEO of the Association for Individual Development, Lori Baker. Lori, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Josh.
So Lori, as you're aware by now, when we do these things, what we're really trying to do here is, let's learn more about AID, what you guys are doing, why it's important. Not just for your colleagues in disability and behavioral health services, but for just anybody that may come across these videos and want to know more. So can you tell us, what is it that AID does in your communities?
Sure. So we are just getting ready to celebrate our 60th anniversary this year. And we, thank you. And we provide intellectual and developmental disability services to people in Kane and Kendall County. And then we also provide behavioral health services to people in a 7-county area: Kane, Kendall, DeKalb, McHenry, Northwestern Cook, Western DuPage, and a little tiny smidge of Will County, because we are headquartered in Aurora, and Aurora is in 4 counties. We do a lot of cool things that help support and encourage people with disabilities to live and be a part of their communities. We believe strongly in equity and inclusion, and do a lot of work around affordable housing development and support of people within affordable housing, as well as employment within their communities. So I feel like that's what AID does best in our communities, is help the people that need the supports but want to live and work in their communities and add to the vitality and richness of those communities. And that's what we do well. One of the specialized programs that we have is also a victim services program, where we work closely with law enforcement across the Fox River Valley area in order to support victims of violent crimes, so that the police officers can do their jobs, which is to do law enforcement, not social work. So that's another exciting program that we have here at AID.
One of the things that I think fondly of when I think of AID is when I think of AID, I think of AID is Collier County, Illinois. And I think what you just said, really indicates that you guys' geography and service pad is absolutely tremendous. And I think you touched on this, but one of the things that, I run into just in my day-to-day when I'm talking to folks that may not be familiar with the not-for-profits in our space is, why they're absolutely crucial to healthy communities. Can you talk a little bit about what, AID, what part they play, and why you guys are so important to what a healthy community looks like?
Yeah, I think a healthy community has a lot more to do with than just physical health, right? So mental health is a part of physical health, and having strong mental health services in a community and supporting people with behavioral health diagnoses in order to live their best full life in the community is really great for the community. It's great for taxpayers, that people don't have to have more intensive, expensive supports that aren't really individualized or supporting people in a way that they want to be supported. I think that healthy communities are diverse communities that support people, and diversity to us at AID means more than race. It also means your disability status. We believe that people with disabilities should be fully integrated in their community: intellectual, developmental, behavioral, physical, aging persons, because that mix of people in our community is what makes us healthy. Not having just one type of person in our communities makes our community healthy, vibrant, and attractive to other people to come in. I think that having a strong service provider in your community, our staff members are engaged with other providers throughout the community. There's collaboration, there's communication, there's support. We do a lot of advocacy, so these are important pieces that we bring to making, the counties that we serve healthy counties in all your definitions of what healthy might mean.
That is an excellent explanation, and I think it goes a long way to understanding why social services and the services AID provides is important from an equity, I'm making up words now, from an equity standpoint, but also diversity inclusion, which we know as Americans is absolutely crucial. So, I mentioned earlier, when I think of AID, I think of AID as the collar counties. And that means that, you guys, there are a lot of members of the Senate and the Illinois House that have geography within your service array. And so, as you know, our General Assembly is working to finalize a budget by the end of May. And a lot of organizations like AID are on contract with the departments to provide, crucial services in healthy communities. Can you talk a minute about what you think the General Assembly needs to do to help advance the mission of AID?
Yeah, so we provide services in about 32 representative or Senate districts throughout our region that we serve. And there's some really important things that they're working on right now, right? We know that people are working on developing the state budget. And we are in full agreement that the Guidehouse Rate Methodology Study that was just released in December of 2020 by the Illinois Department of Human Services Division of Developmental Disabilities and was created and put together by a national expert in rates for intellectual and developmental disability services, Guidehouse, should be fully funded at the full amount that it takes to get us just to where we are on a level playing field. It doesn't make us wonderful, right? It doesn't make us a perfect system. It gets us to be a more stable and balanced system. And that's what I've been saying when I've been talking to our representatives and senators, is that our system is really precariously poised right now. And it's on the verge of collapse. To be quite honest, it sounds dramatic, but it's not. And it just takes one thing for a provider to then go under because of the financial pressures and the responsibility that we have. And then what happens to all the people that are being supported. So that is our number one ask within the budget. We are also, very strongly committed to supportive housing services. And we'd love to see $45 million be in the supportive housing service line item so that the new project that we are opening up in West Chicago in the western portion of DuPage would have those service dollars. We're also worried about some things beyond money, like fixing the crisis service system in the state of Illinois. We have the opportunity to do that with federal 988 laws that are going into effect in a couple of years, but we need to be very focused about how we do that to ensure that we're not just creating another new mess to fix later on, but that we're actually going to implement a great crisis service system so that people who are currently in crisis have their needs met at that moment, which doesn't happen right now in the state of Illinois. And finally, because we like and believe that people need the ability to live in their communities of choice, we'd really love for legislators to figure out how they help jurisdictions across Illinois combat NIMBY, not in my backyard, or banana, which is build absolutely nothing anywhere near anything kind of mindset. It's really an equity issue because these mindsets are based on discriminatory ideas of keeping other people out of your community. And we'd really like the state legislature to figure out how they can help their peers within communities be able to think about and develop affordable housing.
That's a good list. I think everything that you just listed really describes why this coming budget year is so consequential from a DD service array standpoint, from the need to ensure access to housing for a broader population in Illinois, and to make sure that Illinois is among those states that is able to stand up this national 988 hotline in a way that is statewide. All very consequential, all very important. And I just want to say thank you for that. Thank you for telling us more about AID and the great work that you're doing. And thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.